If you opt to take out a newspaper ad, the most important decision to make is the frequency that the ad would appear in the paper. Do you want it once a week, Sundays or weekends only? You should budget to spend about 4% of your sales on promoting your product. So if you had $100,000 in sales, you'd spend $4,000 on promoting those sales. When you don't have much money, you can use reciprocal promotions to trade free advertisements for free meals. So for those newspaper ads, for example, you can get a free ad in return for allowing them to bring their customers in, for the sales customers in for lunch for free. Or you bring food over to the radio station and they talk about the great food that they're eating from your place, and you didn't charge them. Offer early bird specials from 4 to 6 is a way to promote people to come into your restaurant when you would otherwise not be real busy. You can use discount coupons. Although they're widely used and often recommended, the biggest problem with discount dinner coupons is the customers won't return until they get another coupon. Related to that, what Bill Marvin says is you shouldn't give them a discount coupon, you should give them an added item. So if you bring this in, we'll give you a free cup of coffee, or we'll give you a free dessert, that type of thing. Change for the sake of change. New owners like to make their restaurant their dream, so they change everything, and in the process they drive off the existing customer base. So when you're marketing, make sure you don't drive off your existing customer base. If you had a really old clientele, then you don't want to market that you've got the hip happiness place and that you're all over Twitter, and you can Twitter to get restaurant specials. You know, that wouldn't probably fit the demographic. So keep in mind who your customer is and who you'd like it to be, and don't run off the old people, or the old, not necessarily old in age, but the customers that you had before. You need to market your competition. You need to know what's going on around you. What's the similar restaurant in town to yours doing? How much they charge, and what are their specials? If you don't know what's around you, you don't know why customers are going elsewhere, or in fact why they're coming to your restaurant. You need to know what is it that's making them come to your restaurant, so you can keep that up and build on it. If you got a place across the street that's doing tremendous wine business and you're not, go over there or send somebody over there and just see what they're doing. How are they promoting their wines? Send somebody over, spy on them, see what their customer service is like, see for better or for worse. Find out what you're doing better, find out what you're doing worse, what you're doing better. Promote that to your people in ads, promote that to your customers, promote that to your employees. Here's what we're doing that's better than them, and here's what they're doing that's better than us, and so you can use that to learn. One easy way to increase the sale of wine is to encourage employees by offering a bonus for increasing wine sales. Now, the danger of that is if people push the customers to buy more, and so you increase your wine sales, but you have people who walk out thinking, yikes, that was expensive, and and they don't come back. So you have to be careful with employee bonus systems like that. You want to increase the selling price of one of your most popular menu items. What's your concern, and how might you address that concern? Well, the customers who are used to that old price may not like the increase, especially if you have older people who are on fixed incomes, or people that just lost their jobs, and you know the economy's bad, and here you are raising the prices. So what might you do about that? Well, you might add something to the plate that provides visual value and causes the customer to believe they paid more but they got more. Oh, look, they increased the size, and actually we just sliced it thinner, or we just spread it out so it looks like more, but somehow or other make it look like they got more for their money. And if you're honest, if you just say, you know, we haven't raised the prices in 5 years, and we had a choice of reducing the quality or reducing the portion sizes, and we just decided to have a little price increase, and then people would, okay, well, that seems logical. You You could attract more customers by lowering your prices, but what would have to be true about your menu item? Your food would have to be at least as good as your competitors. You're not going to say, well, let's go to Ed's restaurant. His food sucks, but he's cheap. So you have to be at least as good. You don't have to be better. If your prices are less, you don't have to be better, but you have to be perceived as at least as good as your competitors. Since the food tastes the same, why go to a higher priced restaurant to get the same thing? There's other factors such as service, ambiance, and loyalty. So price isn't the only thing. Um, if they just love you, they love your service, they love the place, they'll pay more. In designing a menu item is considered to be popular if it sells at least 70% of what you would expect based on how many items you have on the menu, just a sheer division of how many items divided into 100%. So if you sold 100 items total and you had 4 items on the menu, you should sell, just statistically, because you got 4 items, 25 of each, right? So 25 times 70% is 18 portions. So if you sell at least 18 portions, then the item would be considered to be popular. Less than that, and it wouldn't be. So if you only sold 10, it's a dog, and some action is required. Either market it better or take it off the menu. If you want to see what life's like in a busy restaurant kitchen, I suggest you read Anthony Bourdain's Kitchen Confidential. It's a great read. I thought I had it for a couple of years before I read it. I thought it was just a book about people peeing in the soup, but it's actually just a terrific book with a lot of things that particularly young people new to the industry can learn about life in the kitchen, how it works, good teaching in there. And of course, he's quite popular on TV these days. I just actually met a chef the other day who said he has everybody in his restaurant in the kitchen read that book. It's very graphic. If you don't like cuss words, then don't read it. But if you want to know what life's like in the kitchen and learn some techniques for handling huge quantity, it's a great book. One common problem is that orders coming out of the kitchen don't match the guest request. So the guest asked for light on the seasoning and didn't get that. So in order to reduce that happening, you need to train the staff on acceptable abbreviations for menu items like au jus on the side. If the chef can't read what you wrote, then the au jus won't wind up on the side. The chef will just go, I have no idea what that means, and just do it their regular way. So make sure you have a set of abbreviations that both the kitchen and the wait staff understand. Reliable estimates suggest that more than half of new restaurants go out of business within the first 3 years. Tough business, hard to make a profit. Recently, there was America's Next Great Restaurant, I think it was called, a TV show, and the guy that won got $2.5 million to open up his business. So his business was 3 restaurants, and they were all like a soul food type of thing, a barbecue, home style, I guess. And guess what? With $2.5 million of free money that he got, his businesses didn't make it 3 years. They didn't make it 3 months. They were out of business in a month. 1 month. How can you have $2.5 million to invest in the restaurant business and lose it within a month? But he did. Some key concepts for success in business, any business really, is you've got to have a passion for the business concept that you have. You have got to be totally convinced when you go into that business that that's going to work. It's an awesome concept. People are going to love it, because if you don't, you flake out early, because it's going to be more work than you ever imagined, and you've got to be doing that with the confidence that, okay, it's a lot of work, but it's going to work when it's done. Got to have excellent credit to obtain larger loans, which you're going to need if you want to expand, or if anything happens and your business is slow. Why so many restaurants go out of business, a large part of it is that they don't have any financing. They tapped all their friends and their own resources to open their restaurant, and then once it's open, if you don't have booming business from the start, then you have all these costs to your employees and everything in your building, and you don't have the income yet. So you need to have excellent credit. You need to know what your competition is doing. You need to know if there's five. I had one friend who opened up a restaurant. They were all doing. He and other major chains. He wasn't the chain. He was just a small operator opening one restaurant. But all the chains were doing studies at the same time, and so he opened his, and then Red Lobster and everybody under the sun moved into the same area and killed them. So you got to know what your competition is doing. You got to know if you're doing it better than they are, and are you going to be able to grab their customer base. You need to realize that every little detail about your business counts. A successful business is all about the details, whether those details are customer service, cleanliness, how much you're paying for a product, what kind of discounts you're getting, all that. Comprehending what external details affect your profits. So if you open up a chicken restaurant, guess what? They're using more corn to make gasoline. What's that got to do with you? Well, that's the highest cost that the chicken manufacturers, Tyson and those, have for their products, and so their product is likely to increase in price, and it's going to affect you. They're fixing to tear up the street in front of your place. That's going to obviously affect you. You're in a military town, and I know a war breaks out, and all of your people go get deployed to Afghanistan and Iraq. So you need to know what's going on around you and how that's going to affect your business. We know there's so many advantages to written recipes that are actually followed. From ordering to consistency of cost, the look, the flavor, the texture, allergies, to life beyond the current chef. What happens when a chef walks out the door and you didn't have recipes written down? There goes your restaurant. So to keep the chef happy, though, you can insist on recipes, but allow the chef to create daily specials, which you're going to have them write down, so you got a recipe after that. To keep life interesting and challenging for them. So let them do their thing, but also as they're doing it, have them give you those recipes as well. In these modern times, with the tools that are available, the best way to deal with adjustments to recipe quantities is computer software, rather than calculators, fingers, and ballparking it. Is get computer software.